Hi, welcome everyone. I would like to present you today the game called Path of Exile. I tested it recently and I found it really enjoyable, and I would like to share with you my experience and my feeling about it. So let's begin the game. On my side, I took the Ranger. Usually I'm more comfortable with a melee character, but this time I wanted to try something different, and I also like to play a female character, but of course that's entirely my choice. I also have a preference for quick attacks instead of casting spells. That's why I took the Ranger and not the Witch. First, you have to cross through the tutorial area. It explains you how it works. You have the time to discover the world, the environment, to fight some monsters and get used to it. At the end of the tutorial, you have to defeat a stronger monster, but you can't really say it's a boss because it just has a little more life and is bigger. You just have to be patient and really don't worry, it's not big of a deal. After the training on the beach, you can reach your first town and begin the real stuff. So there it is, the first town, we did it. You have several online players and NPCs as usual on online games. And at the extremity of the town, you have the waypoint to navigate through the map. So, let me introduce you to the world of Path of Exile. It is an online action RPG, and more specifically a hack and slash. The story takes place in a dark fantasy world, and as you can see, it's a pretty dark environment. If you don't know the hack and slash games, or if you want to try it, you have no excuses, guys, because the game is completely free and available on Steam. In the game, you have two different classes, two different types. You have the pure ones, like the Marauder, which use essentially strength, the Ranger, the class I took, with dexterity, and finally the Witch with intelligence. On the other side, you have the hybrid classes, like the Duelist, which use strength and dexterity, the Templar, which use intelligence and strength, and finally Shadow with dexterity and intelligence. Now, let's talk about the general graphics. First, the user interface. On the left side, you have your red life, your different buttons filled with life and mana regeneration, and finally the menu button. On the right, you also have your blue energy, your mana, to cast some spells, and several shortcuts for your magic attacks. You have an icon shop, but this one is to buy cosmetics with real money, so really be careful with that. Finally, in the middle, you have your experience progression. Menu and icons are clean and simple, it works well in the game, except the minimap, which is very bad. It's not pretty at all. About the general aspect of the game, I noticed that some environments are more finished and beautiful than others. For example, there is a light difference between the render of the sand and the mud area. Characters are well integrated, even if sometimes the render is missing some prettiness. For instance, if you zoom in a little too much on your character, you will be disappointed. Let's continue. The particularity of the gameplay is that your skills are actually items. You can put it on your equipment and just took it back really quickly and easily. Usually in a lot of games you can't get it back, so in my opinion it is a really good point for the game.
What little help I can offer is yours.
There are two types of gems, those with skills which provide you spells, and the other one which are supporting the skill gems, so the first one, and reinforce their power. So both are really complementary and important to each other. The main power of Path of Exile is that you can choose your character class, but in reality you only choose a face, because you can decide to keep the initial abilities, or you can go in a completely different way and choose another path to obtain different abilities. For instance, a strong Marauder, which is basically in the strength area, can change and learn how to strike with a bow. All of those changes are possible thanks to the passive skill tree. On the left you have the strength, on the right dexterity, and finally on the top the intelligence. Those three categories define your life, mana, armor, defense, strength, and even the items you can equip. So you can play however you want, but keep in mind that all changes on your class are not always viable. So think about it before doing some big decisions and changes. Thank you everyone for watching and see you next time for a new game Spotlight. Bye bye!